Week 10 of the NFL season is finally here. We are now past the halfway point of the regular season. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of games that we looked over and covered from week 9, and some fantasy football mess-ups that I had that led to not a really good outcome. We're going to be discussing all of that, including just little tidbits of the college football playoffs, which just came out, the trade deadline, which just passed. A lot of things have happened, and it's really cool. So I can't wait for that. I don't even want to waste any more time. Let's get to it. Before I get into the fantasy football, first of all, let's discuss some of the trades that have happened. My Dallas Cowboys got Quentin Williams and got Logan Wilson, one from the Bengals, the other from the Jets. Gave up one total first-round pick between the two. Obviously, we give up some more for the Quentin Williams trade, including a second-round pick for 2025 or 6, one of the two, and Mozzie Smith, which was one of our first-round picks. Didn't work out super well for us, but we'll see how he does with the Jets. The trade for the Cowboys, it's ambitious, too late, and not in a good system, so I don't know if it's going to fix anything. Nice additions. I think the season right now is a lost cause if the offense can't get back into a rhythm it was a couple weeks ago. And luckily we're on bye, so we'll see how that goes. Sauce Gardner goes to the Indianapolis Colts, which is just huge. Rashid Shaheed goes to the Seattle Seahawks, which is big for them. And Seattle's offense is already super powerful. It just got even more powerful. We'll see how that goes. And then there were other trades here and there. Obviously, Jacoby Myers went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which I think was a really good trade. Ultimately, I think that will bolster up some offensive, production, hopefully from Trevor Lawrence. So we'll see how that goes. And then looking at the college football playoffs, obviously 1, 2, 3, and 4 all remain the same. And then I saw Georgia is going to be playing Memphis, if it were to start today, of course. Virginia at number 11 would play Ole Miss, which I think that's a pretty interesting matchup. Notre Dame at number 10 would face number 7 BYU, that's obviously a matchup for me because I'm a Notre Dame fan. And then the other one, which I think is very intriguing, number 9 Oregon, number 8 Texas Tech, and number 8 Texas Tech plays BYU this week. So that should be something very interesting to watch. I'm actually going to really want to pay attention to that matchup in specific, not just the Notre Dame matchup I always watch, but I want to open my eyes to that one specifically. Keep in mind, every single Tuesday, you'll see the college football playoff rankings, and then every single Monday on my channel at around 6, you'll see the college football playoff predictions, what I think they're going to say. I hope you guys are excited for those throughout the rest of the week until we get to the college football playoffs. That will be very fun. I lost my fantasy 124 to 148. The killer was I underestimated Drake London for the most part. I thought because he was coming off an injury, a hip injury, facing against a really good Patriots secondary, I thought his production was going to tank. And so I switched him with Stephon Diggs at the last minute. Drake London goes on to have a 3-touchdown game. And if I had him in and not Stephon, I would have won. That hurts. That's a tough one because it's not even like my team did bad. Most of my players did very well. They did more than they needed to do. It's just that little piece right there killed me. I'm 4-5, number 5 in the league, but hopefully we can turn it around and make things better. I did make a lot of moves. This should be fun. The first move that I did is I dropped Tario McMillan and picked up Stephon Diggs. Obviously that happened right after I was done recording my episode last week, so I didn't include it in the episode, but I included it in this one. Stephon Diggs didn't even have a bad game. He put up 9 points. He had a touchdown. That helped, but again, if I kept him on the bench and kept Drake London in, I would have won, and that hurts. But Stephon Diggs is a nice addition to the team, especially if Drake May is going to continue to improve and improve. He should get more points theoretically, but we'll see. The second move I made, and I still can't believe this happened. I love Jordan Love. I think he's one of the best players I've had on my team in the last 3 years. I've had him on all 3 teams ever since I started making this podcast. He was on my championship team. He did really well. But Jared Goff was on the free agency market, and he's been putting up a great season so far. He's had a few mad games, but he's had more than enough really good games in comparison to Jordan Love in my league. And because of that, I had to get him. I dropped Jordan Love and I picked up Jared Goff to go along with Drake May. That's a really strong quarterback core, and I'm very excited to have someone like Jared Goff because I know he has so many weapons he can turn to. In the pass game, he can do so much. That offense is just built for someone like him, and hopefully against Washington, he should explode. I mean, Seattle did last week. Hopefully he can, and if he does, well, it works out perfect for me. And the last switch that I did, this one's funny. Since Rashid Shaheed went to Seattle, his production and projections kind of went down. So I picked back up Tario McMillan this week. So I dropped him last week. I picked him back up. So yeah, it comes full circle. And yeah, that is all for the moves I made this week. It is time to get to the actual lineup and the matchup ahead. And so, Jared Goff is getting the starting nod against Washington. I want him on my team. I want to see what he's made of. I know Drake May is playing Tampa Bay, and really that's kind of the decision right there. Tampa Bay is really tough. Washington right now defensively is a train wreck, and so that's an easy pick for me. And then the two running backs I'm running with are Josh Jacobs and Quinshon Judkins, with Javonte Williams currently on bye, so he's not starting. My wide receivers, yes, I'm keeping Drake London. He's staying in, I'm not moving him. And then you got Tatario McMillan, he's going to be starting this week, along with Malik Washington. Again, doing kick returns in my league is a very strong thing, and he's also on the punt return game, so the more the other team scores, the more he has chances to score more points on fantasy, and it works out perfectly. Then I'm going to go with Cameron Dicker. He's going to remain there at my kicker. And then the Denver Broncos defense, lastly, is going to be playing Vegas on Thursday, which should have already happened before you've seen this. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm very confident. And that right there is the starting lineup for this week. Hopefully I can do good. I'm projected to win, but we'll see how that goes. We are going to be transitioning over to week 10. First things first, let's get to the top 5 teams in the NFL. According to what I think right now, I'm looking at the eye test alone and seeing what I think are the best teams. Obviously, I'm trying to keep a fluidity. I don't want to just throw a team directly out of the top 5 and have a whole new lineup, but there were a lot of switches. There were a lot of changes, so we're going to get to it. Number 1, I'm giving it to the Seattle Seahawks. Their offense is just electrifying, and now you got Rashid Shaheed to go along with Cooper Kupp, who should be coming back soon, and an on-fire Jackson Smith-Jigba. This offense is powerful. Defensively, they're doing very well. They're 7-2. Really, they're 6-2. Really, they're contenders with Philadelphia. That's a big deal. I think they can take on Philadelphia, and I think we'll be able to see them later on. And that right there is impressive. Indianapolis took a loss. I didn't want to treat them too harshly. They're number 2. I put Denver up at number 3 because, again, Indianapolis beat Denver early on with the similar kind of teams and rosters. So Indianapolis keeps that kind of lead on them. New England, welcome to the top 5. You're at number 4. You are on a roll like Denver. You've won 6 games in a row. Big time. And Drake May, an MVP candidate for sure. A little bit of a rough one against Atlanta, but gotta give them credit. They played very well and were up for the majority of the game. And then the last nod, I wanted to give it to Tampa Bay. I don't want to drop them out after a bye week. I mean, they came off a huge win over New Orleans before that and a tough loss to Detroit, which means that those teams all have 2 losses, are all in my top 5. Honorable mentions, of course, go to Buffalo and Philadelphia and Detroit, which could see themselves back in the top 5 theoretically soon. If some of these games go haywire, which one of them should, we'll be looking over which one that is. Transitioning over to the record predictions, I went 9-5 this week. It wasn't a super strong week, but it's better than most weeks I've had. If I were to get that Dallas game correctly, which I should have, I don't know what's going on with Dallas. Offensively, they looked horrible and I don't get it. But I went 9-5, and with that, my overall record now is 77-58. So we're picking it up a little bit. We're doing a lot better. Some of the notable matchups, obviously the ones I got right, I got Thursday night Baltimore. I ended up also getting Chicago, the Los Angeles Chargers. I got New England correct. San Francisco, Denver, the Los Angeles Rams, I got correct. Buffalo and Seattle. Buffalo again beat Kansas City, so that was a big one. And the 5 games I missed: Detroit, Green Bay, Indianapolis. That one was very disappointing. Las Vegas, who I thought was going to make the upset, and Dallas, who of course is just a train wreck and it hurts, but they're on bye, so I can't be disappointed this week. This is going to be a tough week of predictions. We're just going to get into it, and there's no better place to start this off than in Berlin, Germany, with the early matchup, the Atlanta Falcons and the Indianapolis Colts. That's actually a very intriguing matchup. 2 really good offenses. Indianapolis made an upgrade and got Sauce Gardner, so the matchup I'm really zoning in on is Drake London versus Sauce Gardner. That right there should be very interesting, and hopefully Drake London wins it. I don't believe that Atlanta has what it takes to go 4 quarters against Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a really tough team, and I know they came off a loss to Pittsburgh. They should bounce back pretty well. I mean, you got one of the better running backs in the league. Really, you got 2 great running backs, and they're both on my other fantasy team. I have both Bijan and Jonathan Taylor. That's actually really cool. With this matchup, I'm going with Indianapolis. 37-27 is the score I have for the Berlin game. I do think it will be very high scoring, and you're going to see a lot of explosiveness. In the end, I trust Indianapolis more than I do Atlanta, who has been very inconsistent and has not played up to standard all year long, and they could do a lot better. It was a close loss again against New England. They got to do a lot better, and this is another big challenge they have to go through, and it's just rough for them. Next up, we have the New York Giants and the Chicago Bears. Right now, the Giants, after losing Cam Scattenbo, I don't trust this team anymore. I just don't feel the fire I felt with them a couple weeks ago on that Thursday night against Philadelphia. I don't feel it anymore. It doesn't feel like a team that can go out and win. You got a great quarterback, a very young quarterback who I think is going to get better and better, but without his main weapon at the running back position and his main weapon at the wide receiver position, he is in a load of trouble. And Chicago just got done going to the wire with Cincinnati in one of the highest scoring games this year, 47-42. What a game for them. I believe this one's very simple. It's in Chicago. New York's missing a lot of talent. Chicago's not. I'm going to go with the Bears to win this one 31-17. I'm kind of surprised that it's even that close. It is Chicago, and Chicago manages to find ways to beat Chicago. Next up, Bills and Dolphins rematch in Miami. Really, right now, these are a tale of two different types of teams. Buffalo is coming off of 2 wins after the bye and losing 2 straight to New England and Atlanta, and then, destroying Carolina the way they did. Beating Kansas City always, that's a big win when they can do that. Buffalo, feeling high, feeling good. Miami, on the other hand, way down, 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 down. You lost Greer, and your head coach is still there, which is surprising to a team that's just completely on fire and has almost nothing to give. And right now, these two teams are colliding, and Miami's colliding at a very horrible time. Without Tyreek Hill like they did in the last matchup, I don't see this matchup being close at all. Give me Buffalo to win 34-14. How do you make sense of Miami's situation? They have the talent, they're just not putting it together. And that is devastating against a team who has been owning that division for a very long time. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Minnesota Vikings. There's a lot of similarities with these teams right now. They're both purple. They both are coming off of big wins after receiving their quarterbacks again. Lamar Jackson, a big win against Miami. Welcome back, Lamar. And then JJ McCarthy, a big win at Detroit. That was a great matchup. Baltimore's back in the fray. Minnesota, if JJ McCarthy can continue to play like that, they're in the mix in that division. Really, they could win the division if they can continue this consistency. Now, with this matchup, I think what I'm looking at right now is more or less the chemistry on both teams. Good game by JJ McCarthy, but this is going to be his 4th game. Baltimore's defense hasn't been that great all year, and even though Miami put up 6 points, I was looking at many drives they were putting together, and they had to botch themselves, and that sucks for them. Overall, when I look at this matchup, it's really hard to bet against Lamar Jackson, and Baltimore is in a big urgency. They cannot afford to take more losses right now. They don't have that kind of room, and they need to fight their way back into talking with the division. I mean, Pittsburgh just got done with a big win against Indianapolis. Cincinnati, they can pass Cincinnati, and they're definitely past Cleveland. They just need to catch up to Pittsburgh, and this is a big game to do so. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to win this matchup 28-23. Lamar Jackson is going to have a big game. Derrick Henry, I don't think he's going to have a big game, but watch out for the tight ends and Likely and Mark Andrews. Those are going to be some difference makers in this game, and I believe that Baltimore's going to come out of here with a dub. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets. All right, moving on. Next up, we have the New England Patriots and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Really, this is one of the biggest matchups this week, and the one I'm looking the most forward to because I want to see what's going on with both these teams. New England has been a shock all year long. After starting 1-2, they've won 6 in a row. Drake May is in MVP conversations. They had a close win against Atlanta. Still, a very gutsy win, a really good win in my opinion because Atlanta has a great offense. And then there's Tampa Bay coming off the bye after big win against New Orleans, and then before that, a devastating loss to Detroit. They're dealing with injury. Mike Evans is gone for a while, and yet they're close to getting back Bucky Irving. They could be getting him back this game. I have no idea, but you also be looking at, the other things that are going on. Egbuka, potentially the offensive rookie of the year. I mean, he's been playing amazing. And then you're looking at all the other pieces they have on offense, and Baker Mayfield is still having a great year. This is going to be close. What it's going to come down to is the fact that Tampa Bay has been very clutch in a lot of these games. Towards the last few minutes, they're able to put up clutch drives, and I think you're going to get Baker Mayfield in this situation. I'm going to take Tampa Bay to win 27-24 and snap New England's big winning streak. If New England wins this game, that just goes to show that they are a legitimate threat. Because, yeah, beating Buffalo in Buffalo, that was big. If you're able to beat Tampa Bay, then you're not a fluke at all, despite you're on this big winning streak, because there's not really that many teams that are super impressive outside that Buffalo win. If you get this one under your belt, that's huge, but I think it's going to be Tampa Bay. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. I don't know what's going on with Carolina. They are magical right now. Yes, they have that Buffalo loss, which was very embarrassing. The big win against Dallas early on, and they have other big wins as well, including what they just did in Green Bay, holding that Packers team to 13 points, a really good offense that they have, and is able to win. Rico Dowdle has been one of the best running backs in the league, and it's been so surprising because he wasn't even the starter to begin the year off, and that right there is impressive. Carolina is on a roll, and then what's going on with New Orleans. You just lost Rashid Shaheed. It's clear and obvious this team is looking for the top pick, so I'll waste no time. Carolina's going to win this matchup 28-17. There's nothing New Orleans can do. It's clear and obvious what direction they're going into. They don't have the quarterback to succeed, and so they're going to tank and get that quarterback in the draft. Next up, Jacksonville and Houston. A very intriguing matchup. I don't know if CJ Stroud's going to be playing in this game because of the concussion. Even if he played, this is what I'm looking at. Jacksonville, of course, the biggest thing that comes from that win against the Raiders was the fact that Cam Little has both the record in the preseason and the record in the regular season, which is just straight up impressive. Outside of that, they just recently got Jacoby Myers to go along with their big wide receiver core with Brian Thomas Jr. However, Travis Hunter is currently on injury reserve, but I'm very excited to see this whole Brian Thomas Jr. Jacoby Myers duo that Trevor Lawrence is going to be working with against the Houston team. Good defense. The offense has been very lackluster. I'm going to take Jacksonville in this game to win 23-20. Really, the Houston game, they had an incredible defensive showing, but that offense was horrible. And so you have to give it to Jacksonville for this one. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. Starting with the Cardinals, it was a really good win with Jacoby Brissett against Dallas. Of course, that defense for Dallas is horrible. You made Dak Prescott look very silly in this matchup, and really, that offense for Dallas got sputtered out of control. They did not do good at all, and Arizona took care of everything they needed to do in that matchup. Good job. I'm going to take Seattle to win this matchup 41-20 because I simply don't care. What Seattle is doing right now is absolutely incredible. Sam Darnold has revived his career with Minnesota and Seattle. It's unbelievable. Seattle now has Rashid Shaheed to go along with Jackson Smith-Jigba. That is deadly. You're about to feel the effect of it. Seattle is going to stomp all over Arizona. I have no faith that the Cardinals can even hang with Seattle now. I think Seattle could potentially run away with the NFC West. Next up, we have the Rams and the 49ers, who are both at 6 wins, and one 6-2, the other 6-3. This is another big matchup for the NFC West, along with Seattle right now, who's at 6-2. That's unbelievable. It's a 3-headed race right now in the NFC West, and I'm very intrigued to see what happens. What it comes down to, I feel like nowadays I'm just looking at San Francisco to see, is the carousel game going on? Is it going to be Mac Jones or is it going to be Brock Purdy? And then who's going to be coming back from injury? Who's getting injured? I mean, George Kittle's back. Christian McCaffrey's still here. You're getting back Pearsall. You're also having Jawan Jennings. That's also very good. That offense is, outside of Brandon Ayuk not being back, that offense is pretty much complete. Defensively, they've been able to hang, which is very nice. Obviously, defensive coordinator Robert Saleh has been a really good addition for the San Francisco defense. So that works. I remember this last matchup, and the punch out at the 1-yard line in San Francisco clutched up in that game with all the injuries that's going on. Do they have that again in them? I'm going to say no. I'll take the Rams, albeit very close one, 27-26. I really like what I'm seeing from the Rams right now. They are a very powerful team. When Puka Nacua is healthy, and I hope he's going to stay healthy because, he's giving me a little bit of scares right now. But obviously, Kyron Williams is a big asset to that offense. You also have Devontae Adams, who is having himself a year. He's having himself a really good years. And defensively, the Rams have done a lot better. I believe that the Rams are going to win this matchup against San Francisco, albeit very close. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions and the Washington Commanders. It really really sucks. I like Jaden Daniels a lot. I hate that he suffered the dislocated elbow injury, and it was a very gruesome one. I'm surprised it was just a dislocation. Obviously, I think that's a really good thing because I didn't see any talks really about ligament tears. I'll probably have to look back into that, but really I've just seen dislocated elbow, which could have been a lot worse, and I hope he recovers very well and is able to come back better than ever. The Washington defense, the way that it is, it's kind of an embarrassment. And you're facing against a Lions team who thrives against these kind of defenses that will put up 40, even 50 points. And Jared Goff's on my team. You know I want to see something huge. Give me the Lions to win 42-10. I almost predicted the score of the Seahawks Commanders game last week, and I said that strong offense was going to do what they do, and I think that the Lions are going to do the same thing, and maybe even worse. So give me Detroit. And then we have Sunday Night Football between Pittsburgh and the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, Pittsburgh's win was way more impressive against a 7-1 Indianapolis Colts team that they dominated for the most part of the game. And then the Chargers, of course, they were going to take care of business, but it was very close for some reason against Tennessee, and that's kind of concerning. The game's coming back to Los Angeles. Right now, one of the best quarterbacks in the league plays for Los Angeles, and Justin Herbert. By the way, somebody sent a trade request that had Justin Herbert on it, but it had a running back I really cared nothing about, so I didn't accept the trade because I already have pretty good quarterbacks, so whatever. The Chargers, a really strong team this year. They've had their moments where they looked mid, but for the most part, they have been extremely strong. They're trying to chase Denver. They're trying to keep distance away from Kansas City. They're in the middle of the pack to go to the playoffs, and I hope that Kansas City gets pushed out. Really, I'm getting annoyed with Kansas City at this point, always being in the Super Bowl, and so I'm looking to a team like the Chargers and hoping for the best. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, big win. There's nothing more I can say about that. I mean, beating Indianapolis the way that they did, very impressive. Now you're going into another big environment like Los Angeles against a team that has played strong competition all year long, and they're going to continue to do so. I believe that the Chargers are going to win this matchup 31-21. I trust the young quarterback in Justin Herbert over Aaron Rodgers in this situation. I believe that the Chargers have a really good team on their hands that they're going to use a lot better, and I cannot wait to see it. And then we have Monday Night Football between the leading NFC Philadelphia Eagles and the former leading NFC Green Bay Packers. And this one, man, I always look forward to a matchup like this because the last few times they played against each other, except for, the playoffs last year, I mean, the game in Sao Paulo, that was a really good game. Jordan Love, I mean, he's an incredible quarterback. Jalen Hurts, great quarterback. I'm really annoyed with Green Bay, though, because I don't know how you play a matchup like that against Carolina, just do that badly, and expect that I'm going to trust you against the Eagles, who lead the NFC, the former Super Bowl champions. I don't know what Green Bay is trying to do. They have been very mid all year long, despite their record. The tie against the Dallas Cowboys, that was pretty bad. They had close wins against Arizona and Cincinnati, which doesn't make any sense. And then the losses, it's just Cleveland, Carolina, and now you face Philly. They're going to play strong, but Philadelphia looks like it's starting to turn its gear a little bit, especially in the running game, and that's a very scary sign. Coming off a bye, I believe that Philadelphia is going to win this matchup 31-24. I just trust the Eagles in a matchup like this. Green Bay has shown no reason to be trustworthy, despite the fact that their record's very good. They don't look like they're playing great against mediocre competition. How do you expect me to trust them against big competition? And that'll do it for today's episode. I thank you guys so much for watching this, and if it does sound like I'm talking very funny or I'm slurring my speech, I don't know. This is one of the toughest recording sessions I've ever done. For some reason, my jaw just doesn't want to open. I don't want to speak properly. I'm like stuttering all over the place, but hopefully it's a very good episode. And I thank you guys so much for all the support. Of course, we recently reached over 200,000 views on this channel. We're at 171 subscribers, so thank you very much for that. And I thank you for the support that are going on the shorts right now. That means a lot to me. So thank you guys so much. Continue to show the support, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. Go follow me on all my social medias. Of course, you see them below down here. So I hope you guys are excited. I hope you guys go follow me there. And yeah, that'll do it. You guys have a great day. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.